Hello?
Good morning, Hubert. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, yep.
We'll get right into the questions for you. First is from Andrew Jones. Go ahead, Andrew.
Hey, Coach, over the last 7 games, Caleb is shooting about 26.5% from the floor and a little bit below that inside the arc. How much of that is just shots not going in? Does it have something to do with the way guys are defending him? And how much of it has become mental with him here during this stretch?
Well, one of the things that, I look at Caleb is not just his shooting, his ability to defend, also create offense for us in terms of, distributing the basketball when he gets to the basket. And so I think he's been terrific at that in other parts of his game. Caleb is not a shooter or a scorer. He's a basketball player. And so I've been really happy with Caleb and his improvement and his development in a number of different areas. And I think he's having a terrific season. One of the things that, we actually talked yesterday, one of the things that, we look at when shots aren't going in is, number one, is there anything mechanically, that needs to be fixed? And I don't feel like that, from a mechanical standpoint, anything needs to be fixed. And then the other thing I said, let's look at shot selection. It doesn't matter how good a shooter you are. If you're taking tough shots, your percentages are going to go down. And just trying to get to the free throw line, get to the basket, and then be able to work inside as opposed to working outside in. And so I think those are things that we've talked about, but I've been very happy with Caleb and what a unbelievable player he's been for us this year. And I'm so thankful that I get the opportunity to coach him.
Thank you.
CL Brown, go ahead.
Hubert, that was actually what I had planned to ask you about, was just kind of how do you get somebody out of a shooting slump, though? Like the things you mentioned in terms of looking at form and technique and shot selection, but I do feel like there's a mental aspect of it too, that, once things kind of go downhill, guys might start thinking about missing as opposed to just making the basketball play and shooting. So how did you approach it personally during your career when you would get in a slump?
Well, that's what I talked to Caleb about, and that's what I talked to the guys about. If they're struggling with the shot, I go through the checklist that I had when I struggled to shoot. And first of all, I told them that, there were times where I couldn't make shots. And so my checklist was, the first thing was to look at something mechanical, was my elbow out, was, my guide hand becoming too involved, how's my rotation and my legs strong enough? Am I getting arc? All those different things. The second thing that I would do is look at my shot selection, and I did, it didn't matter how well I could shoot. If I was taking tough shots, my percentages were going to go down. And then the other thing is, and talk about, a CL from the mental standpoint, I would take my mind off of shooting. I think when you're just thinking about, I got to make shots, you end up continuing to miss shots. And what I did was I focused on other things. It was just a heightened awareness to become better defensively, rebounding the basketball, distributing, taking charges, making effort plays, just trying to find ways that I could help the team and that I could stay out there on the floor. And also, a lot of times people say, in order to get out of a quote unquote, not shooting slump, but you're not shooting the percentages that you normally shoot, keep shooting. No, I don't believe that. I think you need to keep shooting good shots. I don't think you need to keep shooting. And one of the things that I always tell, and I told Caleb and I tell others, is a great way is, to attack the basket and get to the free throw line. For whatever reason, you see the ball go in, it just loosens you up a little bit and then allows you to feel more comfortable to shoot the ball from the outside. So those are things that I thought about when I wasn't in a rhythm offensively and I wanted to get back to shooting the way that I normally shot. And so those are things that I've expressed to Caleb and to other guys on the team when they've gone through stretches like this.
And just as a follow-up, I wanted to see if there was any update on Dawson.
Yeah, the update is that I do not know when he's going to return to the team. CL, we desperately miss him, not just as a basketball player, but as a person. We love him and his family. The best thing for Dawson is to be with his family during this time. And so he's exactly where he needs to be. And so from that standpoint, we're thinking about him, we're caring for him, and we're 100% supportive. And so in terms of his return, we don't have an immediate update, but that's something that when he comes back, he'll come in with open arms and with hugs because he means so much to this team and to this program.
Thank you.
Josh Graham, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, before the game, they flashed on the scoreboard a photo of you, Roy, Kay, and Shire that looked like it was taken earlier in the day. Knowing how much the rivalry and the history of Carolina basketball means to you, how special was it to visit with them briefly? And how special is it? Does it matter to you at all that the future of this rivalry is going to be with former players leading it?
Well, it was nice to have that, quick special moment before the game with all four of us and just being able to share a little bit of time together. Rarely do we ever get an opportunity to have a conversation without 20,000 people and cameras in front of our face. And so to be able to have that, behind closed doors and have an actual normal conversation with Coach K and with John was, I really enjoyed it. It was also a little different. It's like before the game, you're getting ready to play and getting ready to compete. So to be able to do that was something different, but I'm very thankful that we had that opportunity in that time and we were able to take those pictures.
How do you define a normal conversation between coaches without the cameras around?
We talk not just about basketball, about our families, about our kids, about our wives. That's a normal conversation. And it's also a normal conversation to be able to do it and have those conversations that are private and they're not being done in front of a camera or in front of 20-something thousand people.
We'll go to Michael Coe. Go ahead, Michael.
Good afternoon, Coach. I remember you said after the Wake Forest and Miami games that you came into practice and you were really sort of upbeat and peppy, and that kind of caught some of the players off guard. Has that sort of been your approach in the past few days? And how would you describe the mood around the team?
I was very positive with them coming into practice on Sunday. I was clear and definitive and direct on the things that we didn't do well and the things that we have to improve on and moving forward that we can't do anymore. But I was also upbeat, and the reason being is that is what is needed. We play a really good Clemson team on the road tomorrow night, and so our focus needed to be on learning from the mistakes that we made Saturday against Duke, but moving forward and focusing on this upcoming week and playing Clemson and also Florida State. And so those are things that I expressed to them that we've done this before. And then you mentioned after the Miami and the week with Miami and Wake Forest, we were able to focus and we're able to win 4 games in a row. And so this is something that we've done before. It'll be a challenge against Clemson, against Florida State this week, but it's something that we're really excited about getting back out there on the floor after our performance against Duke on Saturday.
Thank you.
We'll take one more question from Andrew Jones. Go ahead, Andrew.
Hey, Coach, also want to ask you about PJ Hall tomorrow night. What kind of challenges does he present to you guys?
A lot of challenges. He's a guy that plays with a lot of emotion. He's competitive. He's very physical. He plays hard on both ends of the floor on every possession. He's a guy that can consistently score around the basket, but he can also shoot the ball from the outside. And so, on both ends, he's a player that can be a huge factor. And so I think it's important for us from an offensive standpoint to attack the basket and attack him, put a lot of pressure on him to defend without fouling. And then Obviously, on the defensive end, we've got to do a good job of keeping him away from the basket, but also being in position where we can contest his shot because he can really stretch the floor and shoot the ball from 3-point range.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Hubert, thank you for the time today. We appreciate it.
Okay, have a great day. See you guys later.
Thanks, you too.
Okay.
We'll have a recording available within about the next half hour. Thank you, everybody,